Has the absolute shame of fast fashion been devastating your spirit as of late? Well, it's no wonder with imageries like this that have been eye-punching you from Africa, China, India. They have been soul-punching us in the face since young Greta Thunberg's rebuttal. Or maybe you've seen the most recent call to action to use no or less fast fashion from a 2022 Chilean ad campaign of dumping waste in the Atacama Desert of South America. By showing us the most confusing ads of all time as we watch global models wear their fast fashions while standing on top of a graveyard said companies had created, yet making us still want them and still want to buy them. How? Why? It's because of the choice models that they have selected playing to your choice psyche and subconscious mind. One day, like me, you chose to buy a sewing machine in hopes that it's going to teach you how to create and sew the most beautiful things that you have ever seen. Oh, no. They don't show you how to create, they only show you how to use it. So that being said, FYI, always watch the discs that come with your sewing machine. It's only 7 to 10 minutes long. It's going to save you a lot of hassle. However, back in 2019 through 2022, it was most difficult to fight through algorithms to get most helpful content in search of somebody to help with male garments and thickums, such as myself. Instead, we are flooded with historical channels such as these beauties: Bernadette Banner, Nicole Rudolph, Abby Cox, Morgan Donner. But simply put, I just needed help with the order of operations on a simple linen dress shirt. But to no avail, nobody will explain this. But I kept bumping into an absolute nutter across the pond by the name of Cornelius Queering, who kept giving us titles such as, I learned how to make a dress shirt so you didn't have to. I learned how to make a pair of pants so you didn't have to. While wasting 15 minutes of your life and showing absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. He's a little bit better now, but I still don't recommend his channel. Sorry, Core. Till March 7, 2023, on my birthday, YouTube had finally gifted me the greatest 2 channels of all time. Here we have Miss Karina at Lifting Pins and Needles. She's a lifelong garment maker based in Brazil. Second, we have Evelyn Wood. Evelyn Wood is a vintage extravaganza, and both of these phenomenal women are here to teach you how to measure, how to size, how to pattern read, sewing techniques, and they go through different styles of material for you to select for your best body type. After hundreds of videos that they have to go through, after 6 to 9 weeks of me studying myself and choosing different materials that I wanted to use for my patterns and for my specific wardrobe, I chose linens, and these are the linens I chose. It OTEC approved. I got these pure linens with only organic chemical-free dyes, no toxic heavy metals, paying 50% more than most because fair trade is absolutely key. So as I started making my spring and summer capsule wardrobes, I was gifted this wonderful page. Miss Bianca at the Closet Historian came into my life, unleashing a vigorous amount of new ideas. Bianca's unique style at the Closet Historian shows you how to calculate, shows you how to measure, and create a unique body block for you to build your own personal patterns and modifications off of. So when you're ready to start your journey or need that simple tip or trick to get your current project completed and finished with that finesse, go and check these 3 lovely ladies out down below. Not until after answering these here questions. Has your life gotten you down? Are you flooded with utter uselessness on what to do and where to start and begin? Or has your current project started to take the upper hand? Well, don't be a baruka. Don't let your project turn you into a 2-year-old toddler dead dropping and having a tantrum in the middle of who knows where. Instead, break for your feature presentation. What do these 3 garments have in common? That's right, it is a pattern and unlimited imagination. As we look at McCall's M7374 and the alterations I did on the pattern itself, here we use a wonderful alteration tip from Lifting Pins and Needles. Karina, thank you for all the wonderful tips and tricks that you have shared with us. Karina's second tip is going to be joining the collar and a stand in a cohesive one piece. After a good firm pressing, we're now going to outline our pattern and give it a good cut, always making it as proper as possible. As you can see, we use weights to lay down to pattern so that way none of the linen slides on top of that wool mat. And for anybody who was just inquiring or just did not know, that as we're cutting with the grain line instead of against it, that means we're folding the salvages together and we're going to be cutting parallel with the salvages. So that way it is much easier and the linen flows down instead of across the body. So that way when it does shrink, it's 7% after your first wash if you did not pre-wash your linens, but I do. So that shrinkage does need to be accounted inside your seam allowance. Here we are starting to prep the facing and the interfacing, and you're going to see Karina's third tip of the day. Whoosh, right there, you see we cut the shoulder right off the facing and interfacing, so that way it doesn't bunch up. And you're going to thank yourself later on because your arms do not want to have 3 different layers right there at that shoulder. And here we're going to start prepping all the facings and interfacings together. Zoom, zoom, zoom. I would like to thank you for taking the time to join us here at Authentic We as we dive into top internet trends, how-tos, and compare them to real-life usages. Please give us a like and subscribe for future videos. Heading back over to the pattern, we're going to take a look at how the facings and interfacings are going to be connected to the outside of the jacket. And now you're going to see me starting to begin the French seams. As we French seam, we're going to actually have the outsides of all the pieces sewn together first before they get flipped inside out. Here I am trimming them 1/4 inch away from the seam allowance, so that way when we do flip them inside out later on and iron them down and sew them once again, we don't have no fringes or fraying popping through our seams on the outside. Here you're seeing me prep the wonderful collar and the arms that are going to go into the jacket itself. You're seeing how I'm ironing down the curves of the French seams and snip, snip, snip. Yes, we do snips here so that way we can have comfort and joy inside all of our garments that we are wearing. Giving everything a good press, heading back to the iron and sewing the second part of that French seam. And then as you see, we flip it around, do it again, do the second one, snip, 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 and then we're going to head back over to that iron. You're going to notice that ironing is going to be 50% of the project. Here, you actually see what the facing and interfacing and the collar pieces look like. And now we're going to firmly press and snip again all the extra curves at the bodice and the back, so that way we can take it back over to the sewing machine and stitch in the ditch of absolutely all of these top seams right here. So as you see me stitching the ditch, which is literally what it sounds like, we're stitching right where the first seam was. We're snip, snip, snipping those final snips, ironing them down, and then we're actually going to take them back to the machine and sew right beside those, so that way everything that we just snipped is going to be firmly sewn right down. And the only part of that I'm going to show you is these sleeves. And here we're going to be doing the bias tape against the interfacing and the facing. Another tip and trick from Karina. Thank you, Lifting Pins and Needles. Once again, giving it a firm press, taking it back to the sewing machine, sewing it down, then giving it another firm press, snipping those nice curves again so that way we can have comfort and there is absolutely no snagging, tugging, no pulling, no pinching. Here we're showing you exactly how it's all being laid together. We're pinching all 3 pieces together. This is Karina's last tip on that camp collar video of showing us how to do that interfacing, facing, and the outer shell and collar all at the same time, which they do not tell you in the instructions, which is why we're really making this video for absolutely all of you right now. Now to the sewing machine again for some good top stitching, 1/2 an inch away, so that way it double reinforces, tucks in everything, and there's no snags. A firm press, start the sleeves, and then we're going to run right back to the sewing machine. Extreme house tour! Yes, we only live in a 988 square foot, so we're living very, very limited space. So after sewing, back to the press, and here we see that I got all the seams done, all the hems done, I got the sleeves finished, and I got that wonderful bronze clasp. And always after a very good firm pressing, we are ready to, here we are. Da 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 da. I want to thank you again for joining us here at Authentic We and taking a close look at McCall's M7374. And I hope you enjoyed all the tips and tricks. And again, the wonderful links are down below for all three of these ladies. Thank you, Karina, at Lifting Pins and Needles, for all the tips that we shared inside this video today.